Hi and welcome back. Thanks so much to all of you that have been watching the videos and the feedback that I've had. I wanted to bring you an update on our DIY mechanical ventilation heat recovery install. As I covered on my previous video, we bought a system from Lindab with a Ventaxia heat exchanger, and I'm working with a local specialist consultant who's going to come and do the commissioning for us once we finish second fix. So in my last video I showed the installation of the heat exchanger in the loft, and we'd started to install the first of the primary steel pipework and the secondary plastic pipework. That's sort of 95% complete now, as we're at second fix in a number of the rooms. As you can see, this main room here still has quite a bit of work to do before we can finish in here, but the MVHR to all intents and purposes is installed. So I wanted to cover a few of the things that we've learnt going through that process to help others that are going to do a DIY install. So hopefully you can see up in the roof space there, this is our MVHR unit. As I covered in the previous video, I'll put a link to that. We were struggling with where to put that to hit the optimum issues of not putting it above a bedroom, not putting it somewhere that blocked access to the entire loft space for storage, and was serviceable. And as you can see, we've got a pretty low pitch, about 22 degree roof pitch here, so we were pretty constrained in where we could put it. It's gone in here above the kitchen space. There's plenty of room in there to get in and service it. It certainly would be a challenge if we ever had to replace that whole unit. I think we'd end up having to cut a hole in the ceiling because we don't have a loft hatch space big enough to get that out. So I'm hoping that it has a long life. So as you can see, that we've done a lot of work on that since it went in. The sort of primary pipes, all of those have to be insulated. So that was relatively easy actually. We thought that was going to be quite tricky. So the insulation is like a rock wool with a foil covering on the outside, and then we use tape. So, you know, reasonably tidy job. Actually my wife went up and did all of that work up there. She's much better at wrapping than me, as I said on previous videos, so really quite a nice tidy job. One thing we do have to finish is the condensate drain that comes out of that, and it really does generate when we're having a shower quite a lot of moisture. So we had a hose pipe on that coming down into a bucket, and we've also left it running on turbo when we had plaster work done, which did a really quite a good job of drying out the house. We've tried to leave it turned off when we're doing any dusty work, because I really don't want all of the pipes full of dust. Unfortunately, there's bound to be some in there with the work that's still ongoing, but we've tried to leave it turned off when we're doing those messy sorts of jobs. So let's have a quick look up in the loft. So let's have a look around in the loft space. It's a little bit dark up here. I've tried to put some lighting up. So the MVHR units at the far corner there, you can see the pipework that we've got up into the loft space, and the two manifolds. The red ones are warm air into the rooms, and blue ones are cold being sucked out. So you can see we've insulated all of those manifolds, and we've got pipework going around to the various rooms in the house. As you can see, we've had to drop some down below and some above, where they've looped over each other. So you can see some here where we're going out to will be the air into the lounge and air being extracted from a couple of bathrooms. So really quite pleased with that. There's a bit of tidying up to do here. We're still doing first fix cabling for a lot of the home automation, but it was, once we'd got around the issue of how to fix it in the ceiling space that we have here, a relatively easy install. We've done it over a few weeks. It was certainly a lot easier to do it before we had the plasterboard in place, as we could get at things a lot easier. One thing I would think about on location is, like, we fitted these before we'd considered some of the things, in particular speaker locations. So the vents need to come out in a location in the room. I'm putting stereo speakers in nearly every room, just a single stereo in some of the smaller rooms. We've got PIR sensors, we've got spotlights, and inevitably the joists end up being in locations that you don't want them. The bathroom that I'm just above here was a particular example where I didn't think, when the plumber came in and put all of his pipework in, that that was going to be in the place of where I wanted spotlights, extraction vents and things like that. So Try and think ahead as much as you possibly can as to where those services can go, to leave you as much opportunity to have the flexibility for installing light fittings and getting the vents in the right locations in the room. That's been a particular struggle in some of the smaller rooms. So we've had a look at the pipework in the roof space there, and that comes into all the rooms for either extraction from the warm moist rooms like kitchens, bathrooms, etc., and taking the heat energy from that and warming up cool fresh air that's coming from outside that's blown back into the living space. So each of those rooms has a one or more of these vents through the ceiling that connects to the plastic pipes that you saw in the loft, and these have to be cut to length. And we debated in the rooms where we had a choice whether we should fit these in the ceiling first before the plasterwork was done, or whether we should allow the plasterers to skim the ceiling and then cut the hole, which was going to give us the best smooth ceiling effect and best finish. So we decided originally that we were going to leave the vents that we could up in the roof space until the ceilings were skimmed. We couldn't do that in two of the rooms because they were a warm roof, so there was no access into the roof space once the plasterboard had gone in. So on those rooms we fitted these, cut through the plasterwork and then plastered to them. We had a couple of other rooms where we did the opposite. So my conclusion on that really is it's better to fit these first and plaster to them. It gives you a better fit. The plaster can be actually snug and right around the edges, and it didn't cause any issues with the plasterers getting a nice smooth finish on the ceiling. So fitting these was one of the trickier jobs. So really this drops into the ceiling space. It can vary in height depending on what height your pipeworks are at. So some of ours, as you will have seen in the loft, have come flat between the joists, some have come above. So that gave us the opportunity for pipes to cross over in a couple of spaces where they need to. So we just fitted these in the loft, cut the hole, dropped it down, drew a line around with a pencil, then took it out and used an angle grinder to carefully cut that. It leaves a very sharp edge, so have a file or use the angle grinder on the outside just to smooth that off, maybe a file on the inside, and then get those in space. So certainly recommend put those in before the plasterwork is done. And another one of the things that we were a little bit concerned about was how conspicuous the vents would be in the installation. So this is in the utility room, because we had some of the roof here and the ability to issues of cut through joists. We actually came out the sidewall, so you can see that's the one there. It blends in quite well with the other fittings in the room. In my home office, which is obviously a slightly tighter space, we've got one in the centre of the ceiling. Again, I think I've got a speaker to be cut in here yet, which will match that. So just for some of the home automation stuff, you can see there we've got 4 spotlights and a PIR sensor in here for location-based services. And those are some of the speakers that I'm putting in the roof. A bit larger than we planned, but got a really good deal on some fantastic monitor audio speakers, so those will be going in most of the locations. Just another example, if we look into the one of the bedrooms, as you can see here, we're sort of in the corner room away from the bed, but doesn't really stick out, so really quite pleased with how all of that's gone in. So I hope you found that useful, giving you a tour of where we are on second fix. There's just a couple more to fit in the vertical wall behind me, and once all of that's done, I'll get Terry Tullett, that I'm working with, to come out and do the commissioning. So he'll have a sensor that can measure the flow of litres per minute of air and adjust each of those valves, inlet and outlet, to be the required amount, and then give us the certification that we need for building control. And we needed that on our instance here because we didn't want to have trickle vents in the windows. So I hope that's been useful for you as a video. If you're looking at doing a DIY install, if you've got reasonable DIY skills, there's no reason why you can't do it. Certainly work with someone that's going to do a proper design for you. I'm really quite happy with the way that our system's working so far. We can't hear it operating. Even when it's on boost, you can barely hear it. If I put it on the sort of purge 100% mode, you can hear it, but that's really pulling a lot of air through the building. So absolutely go ahead and do it. But get someone to design it for you, and I think it's quite important to get someone to come along and do the commissioning and set the flow rates and things correctly, so that you get the right result. So I'll probably come back, if Terry agrees, when he's here, just to do a quick video of that commissioning process and see what Terry thinks of the installation that we've done and gives us any feedback. Thanks so much for all of you that have clicked like and subscribe. If you haven't done so, please do so, and we'll be back with a further update when we do the final commissioning.